So unit number 7, development of information system. So before we talk about the information system, let's look at what a system is. So we know a system is a collection of elements or components that are organized for a common purpose. Now, for example, if you take computer system, you have both hardware, that means physical component, and software. And as these hardware and software components together, it runs as a system. Now, similarly, if you take operating system, and there are various tasks performed by the operating system, and it will also provide other services to the programs. So, which is another system. And if you take like example from day-to-day life, railway system, like we know we used to, go from one place to another, like basically passengers flights. So that is another example. Then the next thing that we have discussed is a boundary of a system. Now, if you take any system, you have a boundary. Boundary will separate out the system with the environment, right? So if you take, for example, a school system, so within the school system, we have principals, students, teachers, classrooms, building, and so on. Whereas the outside, we have parents, education department, like alumni, like all boys or all girls, and so on, right? So where, any system, you should be able to identify some kind of a boundary, and this is known as system boundary, right? Okay, so the next thing that we have discussed is what are the basic elements of a system. So the basic elements that we have discussed are input, process, and output. Now, if we take the school system, we know the input is students, teachers, staff, administrative staff, and also all the other teaching tools. So they are the inputs. And what is the expected output, right? We expect, educated students, right? Or good citizens for the society through the school system. Now, to transform your raw material to the outcome, like that means input to the output, we have to have like several processes in a school system, like teaching, like examinations, like having presentations, conducting seminars, train the students. So all these actually transform the incoming students to well-educated students, right? Now, the next thing that we have discussed is what are the types of systems that we can identify. So when it comes to system in different levels, we can classify them as open and closed, natural and man-made, or living and physical. If you take an open system, if the system is interact with the environment, then the system is known as open system. Most systems are open systems. So school system, right? If there's interaction with the environment, we call open system. Closed system is not to interact with the environment, then it's a closed system. Then we will discuss natural and man-made, right? So if it is created naturally, we call it a natural system. For example, blood circulation. Then man-made systems, that is system built by the humans, like school system, right? Then the last classification, living and non-living. Right? Living and non-living systems. Or we can say non-living here. Okay. So living means like you interact with the environment. Then if it is consist of non-living things like a solar system, we'll take it as a non-living system. So that's the very first part. And then we went to look at information systems. Right now, What we have discussed so far is systems. Now let's look at what information systems are, right? Now information system, basically we are going to process data into information. So basically the expectation is it should collect, it should sort, process data, provide the information. So all the examples that we have seen, like school system, banking system, billing system, they all have information systems. And then you can, separate these into two as manual and automated. Now, manual means traditional one used by hand and also like all the books and very traditional way of keeping information. Whereas nowadays things have changed and we can use computer now to, maintain, data. So usually you can find several components in the computer-based system, such as people, data, procedures, hardware, and software. Right. And this is what I think we have done last time. Yeah. So now that we have discussed about the manual and automated system, let's briefly write down the differences of manual and automated information systems, right? So manual and automated information systems. Right. First of all, right? What do you think about the speed? Yes. We can say manual systems are inefficient since it takes a lot of time to process information. Computer-based systems. Okay, so that's the first one. Then the cost. The second one is cost, right? When you know that when you have manual systems, like if you use people to, work on these things, it's the expenses are higher. To run a manual system, you need, at least several people to handle this. So you have to pay for them, right? You have to pay their salaries and other expenses system. So therefore, right, the cost is high, right? And in automated systems or computer-based systems, the cost is less. For example, you don't have to purchase papers, pens, everything should be written on uh, this, right? So that's about the cost. Let's take down that one as well. So with that one, we can finish the discussion of uh, manual systems and automated system. Now, the next thing that we need to discuss, there are different types of the systems are available, right? We are going to briefly talk about what those systems are. Right. So let's start with uh, the 7.2.1. We are going to look at different types of operating systems. So we can classify into multiple places. Right? So we can write down multiple types of information system. Now, for example, even the school systems, right? We can have this. Okay, give me a second, put that, right? This is the next part, next topic, right? We are going to look at different types of computerized information systems, right? Different types of computerized information systems, right? Different types of computers information systems. So in this particular case, we are going to look at uh, some information systems like office automation. You know that we have emails, we have chatting facilities, we have conference systems, right? And then graphic editing systems. So in offices, we need these ones. So those are known as office automation systems, right? Um, do not take this down. I will discuss this in detail, but right now I'm going to write only the name, office automation systems, right? And in short, we say OAS, right? So that's the first one. Then, okay, maybe, yeah, I will put bullet points. Don't take down. I'm going to write more information. The second one we known as transaction processing systems, right? Now, transaction meaning like if you go to a bank, you deposit money, you withdraw money, you know, so it happens many things together, transaction processing systems. So usually we will say it's operational activities, right? So and if you go to like, let's say a shopping mall, and then you are getting a bill. So that is an example for transaction processing systems. In short, we will call TPS, right? Then we have management information systems, right? We have management information systems, or in short, we will say MIS. MIS. Usually everywhere nowadays we have management information systems. So for example, we can have reports, we can have graphics, and usually managers, usually they can make decision based on information available in management information systems. Then decision support system. We normally call DSS, right? Now, for example, if you visit a doctor, usually we will have different devices there, and then based on the tests, doctors can make decisions. So there are some information system there to help for decision making, right? These are known as decision support system. Then we have executive support system. Okay. Executive. ESS. Yep. Executive support systems, right? ESS, we will call it. Now, executive support systems means you are going to help, the system is going to help executive level officers, right? Because remember, these different systems operate in different levels because different people need different types of information, right? So when you say executive support system, basically it aims for higher, right? Then the next one is geographical information system. We call GIS, right? Now, for example, now if you have a mobile phone, when you use a Google map, for example, you can get exactly the place you are in, you using GPS, right? So likewise, if you want to have the system which uses the geographical information, right? We have to use geographical information systems, right? Then knowledge management systems. We call KMS. So knowledge management systems is basically when you need knowledge, and for that we will use this system, right? Now, for example, let's say we have a engineer wants to decide how much, for example, iron needs to, make the, let's say, generator, right? So if you need that kind of information, for that, we have to use knowledge management systems. Then we have content management systems, CMS. Right? If you take eTaxala, for example, it's a content management system, right? There are a lot of content there and you can manage, right? You can add, you can remove, you can edit information, right? So that is what we call content management system. Then enterprise. Resource planning systems, ERPS, ERPS, right? Now, resource planning means everything in an organization. If you want to handle everything like human resources, meaning employees, production, marketing, if you are going to handle everything in an organization, what you need is enterprise resource management system. Then we have smart ones. We have expert system, right? Enterprise resource planning, expert systems, where we have an artificial intelligence based, right? A system where you can query, right? The knowledge base. There is a knowledge stored there. Right. So that's about the uh, per system. Then we have a smart system. Okay, these are some of them. Right. Now let's go into details one at a time. Again, don't take down. I will give you the time for you to go through this. Okay. Now, office automation systems, we can say things like word processing, mail, like work schedulers are used and designed. Right. Automatically agama piyanang is information systems. සම්පූර්ණක දාන්නයි ස්ක්‍රීන් එක මේ ටික ලියාගමු පුතේ ලියලා ඉවරලා මට මැසේජ් එකක් දෙන්න. Okay, office automation systems, or in short we say OAS, right? So in a office environment, to improve the efficiency, we will have these systems. So what they use normally? They use word processing, Excel, PowerPoint. So this is like for documentation mainly. Then they may use electronic mail. Nowadays, you can have like things like WhatsApp, and then work scheduling systems like Google Calendar, right? So the basic idea is the system will increase the productivity of employees in office. Right. So all the systems that we use to improve the efficiency of employees in an office, we call office automation systems.
So mic
Right. So previous one, we have transaction processing systems. So the daily routing tasks can be recorded in transaction processing system. If you take a bank, for example, deposits, withdrawal, and everything, put it in one single place. So it will be a transaction processing system. And even a billing system in a shopping mall, you purchase things and you get a bill. So that could also be an example for transaction processing systems. Then the third one, we have management information system, which actually support management level users. Like managers are the ones who actually plan things, control things, and then based on the information, they are going to make decisions, right? So for that, this information system which supports management level, we known as management information system. Then we have a decision support system, places like, let's say, the doctors, when they want to diagnose a patient, they can use different, scanners, the systems available there. So based on that, they can make a decision. So if some of the systems will help, the users to make decisions, then we can say this is decision support systems. Okay, so let's move on to the next set. We'll start with the decision support systems. Okay. So executive support system, like in management, it supports the executives, usually in organization, those who make the decision and organization level, we call executives, right? Any large organization, we have executives. අපි කියන්නේ පොතේ විදායක නිලධාරීන් කියලා executive level, right? They are the ones who actually make decisions what to do for a company, right? So for that, they will use different systems, which we call executive support system, right? So basically what you need to remember is they support executives, right? So now, for example, let's say if it is a shop, let's say electronic shop, so they are going to decide, okay, this month we need to sell this many items, things like that. Now for that, they need to collect the data, put into a system where based on the information, they are going to make a decision. Then geographic information systems, I already told you, like if you want to based on the geographical area, like your positions, the details, and then you are going to have, maps, for example, right? So you can visualize. Now, for example, let me say town planning. Let's say you want to plan a town. Now, for that, you need to use geographic information systems, see where are the things, so then based on that, you are going to make a decision. So those systems are known as geographic information systems. Then the next one is knowledge management system. So in short, we call KMS, right? Now, in this particular case, they are going to share the knowledge. Now, for example, when we become old, we know most of the time things happen in a way. So that actually from the knowledge that they have gained from the experience. Now, if you want to share in an organization, let's say you work for an organization and when you're getting old, you're about to retire, you need to share the knowledge. So the system that actually built to catch this knowledge and share with the others is called knowledge management systems, right? Let's move to the next set. So in this one, we are going to look at content management systems, right? And then finally ERP systems. Okay, let's take down. When you look at content management system, that is, you are going to use different content, digital content. Like, for example, in eTaksala, I told you, like, it consists of, videos, the books, like question papers, and then many users can work, right? And it's a web-based one, right? So that we can consider as a content management system, basically managing contents. Then enterprise resource planning, that means when you have very large organizations, right? In very large organizations, then we have to use, from the beginning to the end, planning, development, manufacturing, sales, marketing, everything, you have to put everything together. Let's say product development company, like let's say Coca-Cola, for example. So they have to have an enterprise resource planning. So they have to plan the product, they have to develop it, they have to manufacture it, and they have to finally, uh, you know, sales and marketing. So that is there, right? So let's move on to the last two topics. So next one is expert system. So let's take down this. Then I'll explain. Expert system. The idea of expert system is use of knowledge, right? And then how people make the decisions. And let's say a doctor. So we can actually use a doctor's knowledge. We can put into what we call the expert system, right? So that's expert system does. Right. So usually, if you take this in expert system environment, there will be a knowledge base. And to create the knowledge base, we will consult the expert, and his knowledge we put into a computerized form. And whenever users, they want to know something, they will have a interface and then ask questions. And then there's something called inference engine, actually try to solve the understand the query and get the result from the knowledge base and send it to back, right? So let's say I want to whether to take it which A level. Let's say I want to select the stream. So from the past students details, we can create a knowledge base. So whenever you want to know, like depend on your results, let's say you want to know like what A level I should take. Yeah. So this is the system where you can do this. Smart system, right? So in a smart system, right, available data, right? So decisions are made on available data, right? It could be predictive. Predictive means you predict. Now, let's say a weather. We predict, right? What is tomorrow's weather? Okay, right. So smart systems make decisions based on available data, right? Sometimes we call embedded systems as well. Sometimes we call IoT, Internet of Things. Like you sense what is happening outside. Based on that, you are going to make decisions, right? Even the mobiles, in a mobile, we have sensors, isn't it? In a mobile, it can detect where we are and the speed we are going, right? So likewise, based on the data available, and also depend on the situation, it makes some decisions, right? So sensing means, the term sensing here is you sense something. You can sense temperature. You can sense what else? The light, and then you can have acuity. Mean like you can perform some actions like you can have a smart home system where when you go inside, when you go to the door, you recognize, the system recognize you and open the door for you, right? So the system, smart system, right? And then the lights are switched on when outside is dark, right? Or somebody is inside the inside the house, automatically lights are switched on and switched off if nobody is around. If there's no movements, right, then we can switch off lights, right? So such systems are known as smart system, and they are around us now. Even in Sri Lanka, some homes they have made it smart. Some universities or the lightings, temperature controlled ACs, they are put into smart. So automatically switched on and automatically switched off. So in this part, we are going to look at the information system development models, like how do you design and develop a system, information system, like the school system, is school information system, right? How do you design such a system? Now, for that, we need a way to design such a system, and for that, we are using what we call system development models, right? So there are different stages, like you have to gather requirements, like school system, for example. You have to decide, okay, let's say you want to keep track of student details. Then the question is like, what questions that you are going to, okay, what information you are going to keep about students, right? And then, what kind of a system you are going to build. Are you going to build a mobile system? Are you going to build a desktop system? Are you going to build a cloud-based system, and so on, right? So you have to discuss. Now for that, we have different types of models are available, right? System development models. Now, like waterfall, පුතාට මතකද අපි කතා කරා waterfall model කියලා එකක්? Yeah, අනේ. So we are going to discuss couple of models this time. Waterfall model, we start with the waterfall model, then spiral model, agile, and prototyping, and especially we are going to use rapid application development. So these are development life cycles. Then we will discuss development methodologies like structured and object oriented. Now structured means now we have learned Pascal. Pascal is is structured programming language. Most of the time you have functions. But if you look at the object oriented concepts, then you have both data as well as the methods are there, right? So these are the things that we need to discuss under 7.3. And under that, we are going to look at system development life cycle, system development life cycle model, and also methodologies, right? Okay. Right, let's start. Okay, first of all, we have to talk about different types of model, right? Let's write down system development life cycle models, right? Under this one, system development life cycle, we call SDLC. If you see this SDLC, it means system development life cycle models, right? So what is SDLC, system development life cycle models? So basically these system development life cycle models guides how to develop information system. Like I told you, like what are the phases we have, you know. So likewise, you are going to talk about those details. Right. Let's write it. There are many models such as waterfall model, spiral model, agile agile model, and prototype. This is not many, but this is what you are going to learn. Okay, we have prototype. There are many models. හරිද පුතේ? So in waterfall model, as the name implies, it's a software development model. And after completing each stage, it will go to the next one. So that's why it says it's a waterfall. So start with the feasibility study, then go to requirement analysis, then system design, implementation, testing, deployment, and maintenance. Right. So, and then if something wrong, maybe you can start from the beginning. What will happen each of these steps, right? So we'll start with the feasibility study. Study. Now, when you say feasibility study, meaning of that is whether it's feasible, whether you are in a position to do this, right? So there are many difficulties, whether it's uh, financially feasible, whether it's technical feasible, right? So in this phase, financial and technical feasibility of the system in this phase, financial technical feasibility of the system is determined. Financial feasibility. Financial feasibility කියලා කියන පුතේ ඔයාට සල්ලි තියෙනවා. දැන් උදාහරණයක් විදිහට information system එකට ඕන අපි ලක්ෂ 5ක්. ඒතකොට ඒක පුළුවන් ද අපිට කරන්න. Technical feasibility. Whether we could do, I mean, technically කියන්නේ වගේ එකට අපිට software solution එකක් දෙන්න පුළුවන්ද කියන එක. තමයි මේකෙදි තීරණය කරන්නේ. Right. Second stage, we call requirements right analysis. Requirement analysis. Avashyatavya. So what do you need to do, right? You are going to gather all the requirements are gathered in this phase. Interviews questionnaires, questionnaires, observation are some techniques used to gather requirements. Then we have system design. Then we have system design. Based on the requirements, architecture, of the system, is determined, and select programming language to implement. Fourth one, development. The design is implemented using a suitable programming language. So that is development. Then we have testing. Developed code is tested in different levels. Unit integration system and acceptance. So that is testing. Then the deployment. Implemented system will put in the production. That means users start using the developed system. Finally, we'll have maintenance. Fix bugs, implements new features, updates technology. That's what happened during this phase. Right. Now, with that one, we have finished about system development life cycle. Uh, and then we want to discuss about what are the advantages. So, taliyagan ivarna mata kiyana.